This gentleman, he is sharp, he's handsome, he's 6'6". This guy, listen. This guy, when he walks into a room, you cannot not look at him, okay? This gentleman, all jokes aside, has been an absolute pleasure to know through the Clubhouse app, but also connect with. We had dinner yesterday, we laughed, it was great. But check it out. He's been featured in the second edition of YouTube Secrets with Benji Travis. And if you don't know who Benji Travis is, just know that he does YouTube at a high level. And not only that, but whenever you want a speaker or validation from a speaker to come up, you always want to say, well, what do they know? And what I could tell you is that Levi has been able to bring his business all the way from YouTube in the last 10 months. Last 10 months, he's absolutely crushed it and dominated all through YouTube. And what that means is that, yes, he has social media influence. He has that power, but what it also means is that what you see on the screen is what you get in person, except that much more special. So he's been able to leverage his business at the highest of levels. And please allow yourselves to have the ability to give an applause for this next speaker. Levi, talk to us, man. Let's go.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Today's guest has made 6 figures in 6 months. Actually, he's done way more than that. To introduce him, I thought I'd do something different. I want to read what I'm going to write about him in the second edition of YouTube Secrets. Levi Lascsak picked up a copy of YouTube Secrets, and he started his business as a real estate agent, sharing information about Dallas, Texas housing information and neighborhood tours. He gets a few hundred to a few thousand views. Though this may seem modest in terms of impressions and might not make him super famous, it's created massive traffic, and he's been able to convert it into buyers for his real estate business, leading to, yes, $1 million revenue business in his first year.
Y'all, Levi, he's from Dallas. Well, he's handsome as all get out. He is like the YouTube king. The guy is the YouTube king. Listen to me. He has done $22 million in volume from his YouTube channel in the last, 8 months or something. The guy is absolutely the king of YouTube. Levi.
Doesn't get better. That's the thing. Facts tell, stories sell. If you treat YouTube like a hobby, it'll pay you like a hobby. If you treat it like a business, it'll pay you like a business. Once that first deal came under contract in 90 days, it has completely snowballed from that standpoint. And now, since March 1st, Benji, we have done 50 transactions. That's crazy. 50 transactions. That's total. We've broken over 25 million in production. Wow.
But what is so amazing about his journey is simply the fact that he began uploading videos not even a year ago, right? Wasn't your first video December 2020?
December 5th, 2020, yes.
So not even a year ago, and yet YouTube is his primary lead generating platform.
You guys are trying to bring people that are, I know practitioners first and foremost, but we put a lot of people that implement YouTube. But I think Levi has a very different perspective.
He is legit. He is the creator of the Living in Dallas YouTube channel. They have over 353,000 views, over 40,000 watch hours, over 4,400 subscribers, and hey, most importantly, they can source $25 million in real estate business directly to their channel. Welcome, Levi!
First of all that value was killer, and Atlanta was awesome too, so I appreciate your time on that.
Hey, thanks, Levi. I appreciate so much your time. Perfect. Thank you so much, Levi. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for doing this.
Very impressive.
Levi's amazing. If you have more than 1 year left in your real estate career, you should be on YouTube. Pretty cool, huh? You didn't think I was going to get up here and not play a video, right? Come on. I mean, you got to play video up here. And I just wanted to embarrass Glenda a little bit, too.
You can try, if you want to follow me on Instagram, that would be amazing. There's a little barcode if you want to pull out your phones and scan that or whatnot. Or you can just look up Levi Lascsak. I should be the only one on there, and it is Lascsak, by the way. Not anything else. But so this is the big deal. I mean, so meeting, yes, Mia, already? You're already in it? We'll catch up to that later. Let's move. Let me start my timer this time, right, Glenda? Because last time I got to keep myself on point, so no problem. All right, so yeah, YouTube Secrets, guys, this is a big deal. The YouTube Secrets is the best-selling YouTube book out there as well, and then YouTube Formula that just came out, and we are going to be featured in the second edition, which is coming out November 2021. So in a couple of months, it might already be updated on the audio version if you have Audible, and then in the print edition around November. This is a huge deal, and this is another relationship that was built completely off of Clubhouse. So the only reason you've heard me in some real estate rooms the last couple of months is because when I got onto Clubhouse in January, I started out in YouTube rooms. I wasn't going into real estate rooms. I was understanding and learning YouTube still at that time. You saw, started the channel just December 2020 and stumbled into Clubhouse in January, found YouTube rooms, and I thought, well, this is a great place to learn. What I love about Clubhouse, it's like a 24/7 customer service hotline, right? Where you can just, you log in there and you're like, hey, I got a question, can I answer it? And think about it, if you're starting your real estate career right now, what an amazing position to be in, to have something like Clubhouse where you can go in there and you have all of these professionals that have been in the business year after year and have pretty much seen it all, and you can just ask them a question. And so, but I wanted to really understand YouTube and the platform first, and to be featured in this book already, I mean, this is a huge opportunity. Now, the thing is all the stories in there, all the YouTubers, like when we went to Vid Summit a couple of weeks ago, which is a creator conference, everybody up there, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, millions of subscribers, right? That's always been the metric of the most popular YouTubers. But the reason we're getting featured in there is because at the time I met Benji, the co-author of YouTube Secrets, and because we started to talk and I asked him questions and then he started to hear me talk whenever people asked me questions, this is something that he said that I hope everybody remembers, is that people are interviewing you, so to speak, every time you speak, every time somebody listens to you speak. Trust me, nobody wants you to be small. Nobody wants you to be quiet. Whenever you speak, speak with authority, speak with confidence, because you never know what opportunity can stem from that. And because I listened, I actually listened for the first couple of months on Clubhouse. I wasn't in there to speak. I was just taking in and to ask questions. Then, as it came to be, whenever people started asking me questions, Benji heard me speak, and he was like, man, this guy's really passionate, sounds like, and it helped that he actually started his YouTube career 10 years ago within real estate. He doesn't do that anymore, but think about this. Benji tells his story about he was a struggling real estate agent in 2009 on YouTube, was doing 10 transactions a year. And because of his YouTube channel, he said it was the crappiest video that he's ever made because it was one of his first ones. He landed the HUD account for the Pacific Northwest. And he went to doing over 100 transactions a year because they found his YouTube channel and gave him the HUD account for that. He was like, I was in no position, had no experience, but just one video posted and somebody found it at the right place at the right time. So you never know what type of opportunity can come. And whenever you're speaking, speak up and you know, relay that information, because you never know what other opportunity. The reason I'm here right now is because of Clubhouse. And the reality is a couple of months ago, is that I got invited to speak at Atlanta. And I wasn't necessarily the first choice. Actually, there was a vacancy that came up, but I booked my ticket, and I was, I was speaking in rooms, not that much at that time, but enough to make a point, or to make an impact, I should say, that allowed somebody that saw me on the roster, Giselle actually, who was hosting the whole event. Giselle saw me on the roster, and she was like, hey, we had a vacancy come up. Would you be open to speak? And I said, yeah, sure, why not? And so from there, that stems to now getting on these group trainings, speaking at more events. I've been invited to other opportunities. A college professor in Dallas found the channel, and I went and spoke at the college because he runs a YouTube and video marketing class, and he found the channel. And so you never know what's going to come from these type of opportunities. So here's my partner, Travis Plumb, if you want to follow him. He's taller, darker, and more handsome, and I really hate that guy. I tell you what. I love Travis. You know, it's a huge opportunity to have someone like him. I tell you what, one of the absolute best real estate negotiators I've ever seen, and he's a huge part of why we're closing so many transactions as well. And so really, he's a big part in the business. So this is the funny thing. You know, you kind of heard some numbers thrown out there. I just put this text message up there. You know, this is from Juan on September 1st. And I just want to try to put this into perspective to help people understand what the reality of production and business that can come from a channel. And so Juan texted me on September 1st, not that long ago, about 45 days now, right? And he said, hey, do you mind shooting me a quick bio for the real estate all day once they had asked me to come speak? I was like, sure. So I shot him the quick bio. You might have seen it on the website or not, but I gave him the number at that time. 45 days ago, 23.1 million we had already done. And remember, we didn't get the first deal under contract until March 1st. Now, this is where we're at from YouTube. This is what you call the compound effect. This is whenever that snowball starts rolling downhill and you can't stop it. Look, it took us 6 months to get to 23 million and now 45 days to do over half of that. Now where do you think we're going to be in the next 45 days? So, and for those that are wondering, 20 million of that is closed already. So we still have about 14 pending, but it's adding up. We still have more deals coming. So that has led to, just from the YouTube channel, that's it guys, I'm not counting any other business we've done outside of it. We launched the first video December 5th, 2020. And that's why whenever I said this earlier this morning, we're going to be in this room somewhere, I don't know where, in a year from now. And everybody has a choice. And it's not anything that I did special. The only thing is I took massive action. Massive action. And so I just want to share with you the reality. I'm going to kind of share with you the timeline. I can't teach you YouTube in 50 minutes, but I want to share with you, hopefully this will help put some things in perspective, because what everybody sees is on the surface, okay? What nobody really sees is what goes on behind the scenes. So August 2020, decision number 1. I'll come back to that a little bit later, so I'll just leave that little nugget for you right now. September 2020, research. October 2020, research. This is something you heard me say earlier when I interviewed with Benji. If you treat YouTube like a hobby, it'll pay you like a hobby. If you treat YouTube like a business, it's going to pay you like a business. Guys, I'm 42. You know, I think for the 40-year-olds and up, we're in this position with social media where we're kind of like, man, it's kind of stupid. I kind of have this love-hate relationship with social media. I kind of see the young ones doing it. They're doing it really well, and I was kind of in the same position. You know, that was the thing, is that I was looking at going into 2021, and I was like, I knew social media. I wanted to attract business. I wanted to attract it. I didn't want to be outbound. I didn't want to be relying on my efforts my direct efforts, I should say, to attract business. And so, you know, that's where you got to make the shift. If you understand social media from a producer side versus a consumer side, it's an extremely very powerful platform. So you got to think about it on the back end, not the front end. What you see is everybody posting their lunch and their cat videos. You know, that's the consumer side. You're looking at that going, this is stupid. But you know what? That cat video is probably making somebody $1 million somewhere. You know, I shared this in a room the other day. You go in the airport and I saw the shoe shine guy. And I was even limited in my thinking, man, the shoe shine guy, that's hard work. Makes $10. I've had my shoe shine before going to a business trip. $10, tip him $5, just because I'm like, man, the guy's working hard. If he shines 10 shoes a day, it's $100. I mean, how can anybody live off that? And that's what I thought, until I came across a shoe shine channel on YouTube with the 1.5 million subscribers, and the person has brand deals. Who I'll have in the clubhouse room next Tuesday actually is Roger Wakefield, a plumber. A plumber. You think plumbing's exciting? Well, Roger has 400,000 subscribers on YouTube, so apparently 400,000 people think it's exciting. And he told me, I met him at Vid Summit in person. We had actually talked back and forth a couple of times on email, but he told me at Vid Summit he's making $1 million off of his YouTube channel now. It's surpassing his plumbing business, making videos. And you know what he does? He sits in the corner. He's like, it's just crazy. He's got, one of his brand deals is $500,000 a year. It's a pretty big deal. So things can happen. So December 5th, Okay, November 2020, and remember, if you treat YouTube like a business, it'll pay you like a business. Once I researched, I decided, and that wasn't the first decision, but when I decided YouTube was going to be the platform I wanted to focus completely on, nothing else. Wasn't going to try to do anything else but only YouTube to understand it. After I researched it, then put a business plan together so to have an understanding of what am I going to do over the next 30, 60, 90 days. Again, if you do that for your business, it's the same thing if you're going to do it for a marketing plan. So I just wrote it out. I wrote out, okay, this is what I want to do, this is how we're going to do it, and this is why we're going to do it. And so then November spent that time filming. I also understood consistency is very key anytime you start something. You don't want to just post I got my introduction video or I got my first video out, and then the reason you never want to do that is because life happens, business happens, health happens, family happens, real estate happens. And you post that one video and you don't have anything else ready to go out, guess what happens? Nothing. Then you start making excuses, and then nothing happens after that. So we spent the whole month of November filming, for the next month to release videos for the entire month of December. And what that does is that it gives you a cushion. It allows you to get some breathing room, first of all. You get that breathing room, and then you're going, okay, now during December, guess what? I can film for January. Okay, and if you're going to publish 2 videos a week, you only need 8 videos to go out. And that's the beautiful thing about YouTube is you can schedule everything out. And what YouTube really does like is consistency in the beginning, at least, So get consistent, understand, develop a plan, know what you're going to shoot it, and then start to build that out. So December 5th, 2020, first video released. I put this up here so you can see. 9 views, okay? I started where maybe some of you are right now, okay? I started at the exact same place everybody else does. 0 subscribers and 0 views. So you have to start though. Then January 7th, 2021, we got our first call. So it took a little bit over 30 days before someone finally rang the phone. And that was the goal from the very beginning. You have to understand what your goal is too. The only goal of this channel, period, was can we make the phone ring? I didn't care about views or subscribers, although views does lead to more eyeballs, and of course more eyeballs is going to give you more opportunity for the phone to ring. But I knew at that time that all I'm concerned about is can the phone ring? And that's the big deal because look at this. Well, let me go back to that and say, 48 subscribers. We only had 48 subscribers. These are all real screenshots from the back end. 48 subscribers, got the first call, and it was $1 million buyer. And you know what he said? I'll tell you what he didn't say. He didn't say, hey, you only have 48 subscribers. Are you really that good? He didn't say, hey, I noticed your video only had 200 views on it. He didn't say, hey, who are you brokered with? Hey, how long have you been in real estate? Hey, what are your production levels? The first thing he said was, man, what you guys are doing is really smart. You really helped me understand the neighborhood, what I'm interested in. This is a good idea. I found a lot of value in that. That's what he said. So I was like, okay, we're on to something now. There's $1 million. Now, this person never transpired. They decided not to move after the fact. But still, that call for somebody in that price range from a channel with 48 subscribers gave me something to look forward to. Okay, we've got something now, right? So look at this. December 2020, it ends. You see, this goes through January. So that whole month, what did we make from the channel? Well, I'll tell you, 0. Okay? We made 0. Then we go into January 2020. Well, we start to pick up a little steam, but look at that whole month of December, everything. Very slow beginnings, right? And now things actually kind of start to take off. Now you'll notice my publishing schedule too, very consistent. You don't see any major gaps. But what did we close in January? 0. All right? We go to February. All right, now we're really starting to pick up some steam. All right, man, everything's starting to get exciting. We're getting some more phone calls. Some more text, a couple of more emails. Not a lot, but they're coming in. But what did we close in February? 0. All right. Who wants to do YouTube so far? Exactly. I tell you what, it pays you a lot. Then March comes around. Guess what? We're picking up more steam. We see our biggest views in one day, 2,300. But let me ask you this. How many people can you cold call in a day? If you have 10 ISAs in your office, how many can they call in a day? Can they call 2,300 people? All right, so we know we're gaining momentum. But what did we close in March? 0. All right. So we're at 7 months at this point that I started working on YouTube. And this is what I hope that you take away from this, guys, is that are you willing to put in the work even whenever there aren't tangible results, or actually I should say money coming back in your pocket? Everybody know the cash flow quadrant? So what's the bottom right-hand corner? It's the most coveted quadrant. Is what? It's the I, it's the investor. So when you can invest, that's the whole cash flow quadrant is to get to the right side and ultimately get to the bottom right, which is the investor. It's business owner, then investor. Once you're an investor, you're top of the food chain, according to the cash flow quadrant. And ideally, right, because you can invest, you have money to invest, you allow your money to work, for your money. You make money off of your money. You make money when you're asleep. Warren Buffett says you'll never be rich until you can make money in your sleep. Well, this is an investment of your time. Now, are you going to give up, though, right before it pays off? And if you give up right before it pays off, do you think you think that guy's going to stop when he gets right there, or is he on a mission? Is he going? And you never know what's on the other side. So this is also what really kept us going. Guys, I just pulled this from 2 days ago, really. This came in one day. This is also what helped keep me going. I knew we're on track. You can't see it's a little cut off. But these are just 4 different texts or emails that come in. Now, guys, I've never met this person in my life, these 4 people. But you see the information that they're volunteering. You see their initial reach out to me and not my reach out to them. Look at this. Let's see. 600. This one says I'm 650,000. This one says I'm 400. I mean, they're telling us they're 1,800, 2,000 square foot house, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 450 price range. This person says 600K range. Our budget will be. But also, they're giving me a story. Why? Because of video. They have watched so many videos that they've developed a relationship with me. I don't even know them. But you know what? I don't have to pry anything out of them. They'll tell me their kids' names, their kids' ages. I mean, everything. I've had people email their complete assets in an email. I'm going, geez, all right, go, calm down, let's go. They're telling me everything. This person, I'm on Florida. I'm liquidating my property. My goal is to 1031 exchange within the next 60 days. You think these are motivated buyers, motivated people? We called her up. She didn't put her budget. She wants to 1031 exchange in 60 days, $1 million. That's going to happen. This person, hello, your videos on veteran benefits on Texas. Megan, if you don't have a veterans benefits video, you better have one. Veterans benefits for your state. I can't tell you if you find the veterans benefits on the channel and look at the comments on there. Why? Because during the comment section, I said, hey, tell me where you're from, what unit you were in, where did you serve? That comment section is 300-400 comments deep. People comment all the time. They already feel like they know you. That's the whole power of video. Guys, I was at the Tom Ferry conference last week. Glenda, you were too. Ginger? Video, video, video. That was just pounded into your head. And every speaker on stage, including Glenda, was talking about video. At least 95% of the speakers on that stage were there because of video. And you know what they all shared? They all shared their numbers before video, and they shared their numbers after video. Glenda, there was some drastic changes on their bar graphs, weren't there? Once people started implementing video, their whole business changed. And why? Because people get to know you, they develop a relationship with you, and that's what comes in. And then we get phone calls, we get texts, we get emails, and these are the types of, did this go off already? All right, so this is what happens when people call.
Hi, Levi. Is this the Living in Dallas, Texas YouTube channel?
That's me.
Are you guys the folks on the YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, that's us.
Okay. I know exactly who I'm talking to then.
But this is regarding the Living in Dallas, Texas channel, right?
Wait, are you Levi from the videos, from the YouTube videos?
Yeah, that's me.
It's good talking to you.
I saw some of your videos, and that's how I found you. So actually very helpful.
My wife and I have seen your guys' videos on YouTube, and kind of caught our interest. I'm posting on your YouTube, very interesting where you share the information.
Well, don't know if we should ask for an autograph or something. We've been following you on YouTube like you're a superstar.
That I'd reach out to you guys because I've been watching your YouTube videos.
Hey, good to talk to you guys. Been looking at your videos on YouTube.
I feel like I'm talking to a movie star. Just saw your YouTube video. I'm sure you get a lot of calls like this.
Like some of your videos are literally like first videos I see. So I'm just like, I'm gonna call this guy. Let me text this gentleman.
Thank you. You have a nice video.
We were really impressed, and that's why we wanted to get in touch with you.
I saw your videos, and it actually helped me.
We liked your videos and your knowledge and your energy level. And
All the information that you gave us on the YouTube channel about both of those spots, it looks good.
I watched pretty much all your videos.
I found you through YouTube, actually. I've been watching a lot of your videos lately. Let me commend you, man. Good job on that.
Great videos on YouTube.
Yeah, no, I've been looking at your stuff and it's been helpful.
your YouTube channel helps out a lot. We like to watch those videos and kind of get a lay of the land, But
You make great videos, by the way. I enjoy watching them.
we've learned a great deal just watching your YouTube videos, which are amazing, by the way.
I found your information super helpful. I like what you say in your videos. There's also hotspots for investments.
A no-brainer, but you guys are also well-informed, but I really like your stuff. There's videos and content there. Really good stuff, really good sites of ours, and really informative.
We watch your videos religiously.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
That's the phone calls we get every single day. We can't turn them off at this point. We're averaging probably at least 5 to 6 inbound leads every day between text, email, or phone calls. And the reason we have that, and Zoom calls. I was showing it, where's Fernando? Where's Fernando, right? And Richard. We were looking at I showed them my CRM during the break. Well, we've got 7 calls scheduled this week, Zoom calls, just 7 Zoom calls. So the reason we put that out there is we know, just like everybody has different learning styles, people have different communication styles. So people are more comfortable with text or phone or email or Zoom. And whenever they contact us or reach us out in that way, we know it kind of tells us a little bit about that person, right? So if they're a texter, we know they're probably a reader and a writer. If they call us, they want to talk. They're probably an audio type person, and so they want to have a conversation. But if they're Zoom, they're probably kinesthetic. They want to see us. They want to interact. They want to know we're real. And if I showed you Zoom calls too, then it's just the same. They're actually shocked. You heard it. People are surprised that I'm the one answering the phone. So they don't even have that expectation. So even if you have a team, I've actually stepped out over the last 2 months now. I'm not taking the inbound leads anymore, and we have not, as you saw the production in the last 45 days. So maybe I was a limiting factor in that issue. So actually, I just thought about that. Man, I should have stepped out a long time ago. Geez, yeah, that was probably about 45 days ago I stopped taking look at that. So you see, sometimes when you step out of your business, it allows everybody else to do what they need to do. And so now, March 1st happens, and guess what? First deal under contract, but we all know it's not a deal until it closes, right? All right, so we got the first deal under contract March 1st, but really that's less than 100 days of the first video going out. So even though the months of work before that, the months of research, filming, doing all that, we're still at 7 months. We go under contract and we're like, all right, please let this one out. Please, no problems. Please, you pray to the closing gods and you're like, just let it go through. All right, we want to have that. Well, guess what? We actually got another deal under contract in March. So what happened in April? Now, we closed 2 transactions, $30,000 in GCI. Would adding that to your yearly income, would adding that make a difference? Would it be worth it to do what you're really probably already doing anyways? Would that make a difference in your business? So guess what happens in May? We get a couple, and these are individual numbers for May. Or these months, I just want to stress that. So now we closed 3 transactions for $43,000 in GCI. So now in 2 months, we go from 0 in 7 months to 2 months, now $73,000 in GCI. Would that make a difference in your business? Would you be glad you put in all the work up front? But guess what? It doesn't stop there. In June, we closed 7 transactions, $89,000 in 1 month. Would that change your business? You add that to the 73 from before. Now July, We're like, what's going on? Wait, we went down in transactions. We went from 89, and now we're going, does this really work? I don't know. We're like, what happened? Is it broken? But still, another 77,000 in GCI. This is between myself and Travis. This is not even not even team. We've got buyer agents, but they haven't closed anything at this point because Travis is handling it. But August happens. Now things are starting to hit. Look at this. 9 transactions, 120 in 1 month. Would that change your business? Now we go to September. 9 transactions, 148,000 in GCI in 1 month. And guess what, guys? We don't have an office. We don't have admin. This is between me and Travis. We have 0 marketing budget because we've done all this organically through YouTube. We haven't spent a single penny on ads, flyers, magazines, billboards, none of that. We've got 0 overhead practically. What happens in October, this month? This is what we have. Half of this is already closed, the other half. This is what we're closing. 144,000 in GCI. This is what we already have pending for November, with 2 weeks left to still add to it. Would that change your business? So you see, and now what I'm trying to show you too, look at, I glanced over this part. You see where we started now? Just like everybody else. 0 views, 0 subscribers practically, and look where it's going now. 5,300 subscribers. 47,000 watch hours. That's watch hours. That's what's pending for November. So guys, look at this. Next week, I took a screenshot of our calendar. Next week, you think we're slowing down in October? This is the people we have coming in town next weekend. 5 more coming in town next weekend. That's what's coming in. That's the power. It's only getting, this is not slow down time for us. Everyone else is saying, oh, fourth quarter, it kind of slows down. Things kind of ramp down. No. I mean, it's picking up for us. We're getting busy. You saw our last 45 days, and look at October. We're not slowing down. If I showed weeks after that. So this is what the compound effect is. This is the compound effect in full force. This is one of my absolute favorite books, mainly because I wanted to be an astronaut when I grew up, but The Astronaut's Guide to Life on Earth, I absolutely love it. The main points he talks about in this book is that an astronaut trains on 1,000 different ways how not to die in space. Colonel Hatfield, he spent 22 years as an astronaut, only went to space 3 times. They train on average 5 to 7 years for a mission. Okay? 5 to 7 years for a space mission. And that space mission could be 90 days, it could be 6 months, it could be a year. But think about that. Think about training for something, putting in the work, going through simulation after simulation after simulation. Why? But he knew. And what I also like is that you see that little Canadian flag on his suit? Did you know when he entered the program, only Americans and Russians were allowed to be astronauts? So he started out with every single odd against him. Not only were there 5,000 applicants, he was Canadian. Nobody wanted a Canadian in space. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, all right, that's enough. All right. I'm gonna rile up all the Canadians now. I know you guys haven't been out in a while, so we'll get them all riled up. So, yeah. So the point is that he ignored kind of like this little pinhole during training simulation, this little pinhole of an air leak, like in the 8th chamber back in the of the spacecraft. Kind of ignored that. It wasn't a big deal. But the problem is that pinhole of an air leak compounds, and whenever they come to try to return back to Earth, that leak the pressure starts to build, and guess what? The entire space shuttle blows up. So he killed his whole crew in simulation. So that's what he talks about, sweat the small stuff, that things matter. What you do now can compound into something later. So what you start now, what you start today, or what you decide to start, or what you started with the YouTube challenge, no matter how frustrated or how much feedback or 0 feedback that you're getting right now, or 0 views or 0 comments, it's the ones that persist, that make it through that. So take time versus make time. This is the number one excuse, not excuse, but reason I would say that, well, you excuse, whatever you want to call it. People say, I don't have time to do YouTube. But look at this. One video. This video took 37 minutes. I did it in one take, but 37 minutes, and that's long. I don't advise doing every video. That was actually an experiment I was trying. But let's just say 37 minutes. Well, guess what? This video has been viewed 3,200 hours now. The minute that video was viewed 37 minutes, as soon as it was viewed 38 minutes, I made a profit on that time that it took me to make it. Does that make sense? But not only has it made a profit of my time now, it has now returned me 3,200 hours, which if you divide that by 24 hours a day, that is 133 solid days that one video has prospected for me. So for those that say, I don't have time to do this, I argue, hey, that's exactly why you should do this if you don't have time. Because nothing else is going to multiply your time. Not only multiply it, but compound it. So we always want to earn compound interest on our money, don't we? Well, why not do something that's going to earn you compound on your time? Yeah. So look at this. I mean, TV, guys, they say if you get somebody to consume 6 minutes of online content, you have a customer. Look at this. TV, 25% of our traffic comes from that. Average view duration, 10.5 minutes. When people are sitting on their couch, we're like friends. We're like friends, must-see TV. People are sitting on their couch consuming your content. They don't do that on Facebook or anybody have Instagram on their TV and watch Instagram videos? No, you don't. Yeah, me, I doubt it. Come on. Look at that, all that, what, 47,000 hours. That's equivalent to 5.43 years that we've acquired in the last 10 months. You divide, that's 47,000 watch hours. That's not a view. That's not a minute. Facebook counts a view as 1 second. YouTube actually counts a view as 30 seconds. So at least if you have a view, you know somebody's watched at least 30 seconds of your video. So that is equivalent to 5.43 years. You think any real estate agent is I'm competing with it? You think I have competition? You think I'm worried about it? No, because I know the right people that want to contact us will, because they see the content. And you know what they tell us too? They like, man, you put in some work. They appreciate it. They value it. Whenever we've canvassed all of Dallas, which pretty much we have, they appreciate that. So I threw this up here to share something extremely personal with you guys. Yes. All right. It's funny. I already had this in the slide. And yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I always had good hair, okay? Even since that's like my second grade picture. It's pretty good. But I just want to share this with you. This is extremely personal to me. It's not something that I talk about only with family. Actually, only family knows this, but you guys are family now. So, I'm going to run through this real quick because I want you to understand that even though, it may be my first year in licensed real estate, but it's not my first year in business, okay? And it's not my first year in real estate. I've been involved in real estate investment since 2009, but I always used an agent. So I've been involved in several transactions. I've done fix and flips. I've had several rentals, Airbnb. So I was familiar with the process. But it's not my first year. What you're seeing on the surface right now is really the last 20 years of business that I've been doing. But the reality is that the fundamentals and principles, translate into other opportunities. And before I decided to move into residential licensed real estate, one of my mentors said something, Michael Reese said something that was very profound with him, which made me take the step to pause, which was, he said, it's not the best real estate agent that wins, it's the best marketer. And if you can attract the business, then you'll become the best real estate agent. It's very hard to just be a real estate agent and 10. Man, come on, that's not even I got 17. Come on. Chris talked too long, that's what. But I was always an entrepreneur. Here I am at 15 years old. I convinced my parents to help me buy gold by the inch so I could sell it at the flea market. But that business didn't do so well. So that was my first business failure at 15. Guys, I've had several setbacks in my life. Maybe not necessarily in the last year with real estate, but, I was in the military. I got deployed to Iraq. It's an extremely difficult situation to be in mentally. I spent 12 months in Baghdad, Iraq in 2005, when things were still, I would say, a little hairy back then. We lost a couple of our team members. We've actually lost more to suicide after the fact. It's an extremely, mental, I would say a mental setback, because it did. People said that I changed. I thought, I didn't change. But, close friends and family told me I changed. When you're 24 years old and you're in a combat zone for an entire year, there's a lot. A lot happens, But I came out of that, and I got into CrossFit. And I was very, very fit, but it didn't prepare me for what was going to happen next in my life. And it doesn't look like I have such good hair there, does it? And you see, whenever I came home from Iraq, I came home with a digestive disease. And it messed with me for about 4 years. I was stubborn. I didn't tell anybody until finally got to a point where I finally got diagnosed at the time with ulcerative colitis, which is similar to Crohn's disease. Well, that was fine. I got on medication. Doctors told me I was going to have it for the rest of my life, and that, I need to be careful and do all this other stuff beyond medication and everything else. Well, in 2013, this happened. In 1 month, it snowballed. You talk about the compound effect. And I'd heard about this, but I didn't think it was real, because I was in and out of remission from time to time, and I thought, I'll be okay. But then I lost 50 pounds in a single month. And I became completely bedridden, and I was disabled. And I was with the pharmaceutical company at that time, and I had to go on disability. And I was 33 years old. And all the doctors, I went to 4 different GI doctors, and their solution to cure me was to remove my colon and give me a colostomy bag for the rest of my life at 33. That 3 months that this happened, this went over 3 months. I literally did not think I would wake up the next day. I was in so much pain and discomfort because it was so agonizing that I didn't think that my body would live through the night. And I also wasn't sleeping because I was in the bathroom 24 times a day. When you have something like that, it's a disease in the colon. You can't retain food. You can't even retain water. I was in the hospital on and off just for IVs. And by God's grace, I found some natural doctors, and you believe what you want to believe, but for me, the GI doctors were going to remove my colon. I found some natural doctors that got me on the right path, and we changed my diet, and I started to get better. But ultimately, it took me a full year to recover. A full year. I was completely broken. Every single one of my organs was going into failure. I mean, I had so many complications during this time. I couldn't believe that I was going to make it through that. So, and I will say now, guys, I turned 42 this month. It's been 9 years, and I've had 0 signs or symptoms. And I consider myself cured. Oh, during COVID, I wrote a book about it, actually. So I wrote a book about it, so it's on Amazon. But anyways, I'm not here to sell books. But if you've had that, so my life, I don't know, my life kind of probably looks like some of your lives, right? K through 12, kindergarten through 12th grade, pretty good. I was on an uphill trajectory there, right? I was doing pretty good. I go into the military, things are pretty good. Man, I go to Iraq. It's kind of a mental setback. It did, it did mess with me. Took me a while to get over that, but it's okay. Then I got out and I started in cell phones, Richard. Started in cell phones. That led me to, got an offer with the pharmaceutical company, so I went to a pharmaceutical, did well in there. But you see what happened was then I got sick, right? Another major down. What I learned at that time, after 90 days, I was still disabled. They said, your medical leave is up. You've got to come back to work or we can't. So I learned at that time, I can't have a job. Because at the time, I thought this was something I was going to live the rest of my life with, and I thought, well, I can't have a job, so why not start a business whenever I'm trying to recover at the time? So I got into financial services, and I started to heal. 2014, it took me a full year to recover. I started the financial services business, and I started to do well, and I did well. And then we got contracts with Dallas ISD, and I was helping all the teachers with their retirement planning and everything. Every single year was better than the last. But then 2020 happens, right? COVID. All the schools shut down. And this is where I had the biggest financial setback now. And so from there, this is where decision one came into place. So this is what's really interesting, and I know I need to speed this up, but I have 11 minutes on my timer. Is that okay? All right. So you think about this. What happened was the first 3 months of 2020 were my best 3 months. 2019 was the best year ever. 2020 was starting. I was like 45% over last year's. I'd made just over six figures, about 100,000 in the first 3 months. And I was like, man, this is going to be the year. It's going to be great. Then COVID happens. But what really happened is that my partner, I have no idea why, but he went behind my back, got me terminated, got my license terminated. I had built everything up on a trail commission basis. I had deferred upfront commissions for a trail commission because in financial services, as people's accounts build, right, you make more money as they build. Well, he had no reason to do this. I took him to court over the summer in 2020, wasted $15,000 because we went to court over Zoom. And it was a terrible connection. Everything was like back and forth, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't sue him. I just took him to court I wanted him to put him under oath. Because I had so much evidence. I had been given zero warning over the last 5 years. I had zero complaints. Nothing was going on there. But the only thing I can assume is that maybe they needed the money because of what happened. Everything shut down, right? We had no more business coming in. And so that happened. And then I lost the case. Actually I didn't lose it. They just denied my ability to be able to force him to go under oath, which was all I was looking for. I had so much evidence, I thought, well, if they have to go under oath, they'll just say, hey, we'll settle or something, right? But then the lawyer was like, well, hey, you can spend another $100,000 to we can actually sue him. And I was just like, you know what? This is where you got to stop. And that was decision number one. It's like, okay, I got to move forward, right? So I got to move forward and go from there. But what was going to happen, look at this, September 24th, 2020. Well, guess what happened? I got COVID August 20th, 2021. I got COVID after the build conference. Well, guess what was coming up the next week? I was supposed to, actually I did that 100, who's on the 100-person Zoom whenever I taught YouTube that I had COVID. I was in bed till about 2 p.m. Juan was texting me. I wasn't replying. He was getting worried. I was literally dying a slow death of COVID there. But I didn't cancel on you guys because I didn't want to let anybody down. And then I had Giselle and I had James mastermind. And then I was supposed to go to Seattle that weekend to interview with video influencers and everything. It was like the biggest week coming up. Everything had come to fruition, right? It was like, and I get COVID. And I had to cancel that trip with Benji. And I was dying a slow death, and I'm doing all these hour-and-a-half masterminds, everything, right? But I fought through that. But at that time, Travis and I had been going nonstop. You saw the momentum of our business going on, and this was the realization. This is what really hit me upside the head, is because we stopped. And for that 2 weeks, because actually Travis caught COVID at the same time as well. So we had this 2 weeks where we're going 100 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden we just stopped. Now, luckily, our business was okay, but we didn't close anything for about 2 weeks. And at this point, we're doing 2 or 3 deals a week. And we're on high horse. So we're thinking, hey, everything's great. And then 2 weeks happens, and we're like, oh, what's going on? Is everything wrong? Oh, we're sick. We're over here in bed. Here we are. We're like, we're two strong dudes, but then, boy, we're out. And so, but it stopped. It made me stop, and it made me realize this is a text message from my pastor. And he sent this to me on September 24th, 2020. And what he said here is because I told him what happened with my partner. And he sent me this text. And what it says, the scripture, I know it's a little cut off, but he says, enemy is a thief, pay back 7 times. People do not despise a thief as he steals, but to satisfy himself. But when he is found, he must repay 7 times. 7 times what he stole from you. Well, it hit me. It literally woke me up in the middle of the night. So when I had started in 2020, that first 3 months, when I made that 100,000 and then everything cut off, here we are. And I stopped and I realized we had just hit 700,000 in GCI. And I thought, maybe this is God smacking me upside the head telling me, hey, look what happened. Because whenever my pastor told me that at the time, I thought, 7 times. So I was like, well, I'm pushing that scripture to the side. Oh, that one's kind of out there. So, but here's decision number 2, December 2020. I won't bore you with that, but this is only about half of the email that I wrote them. because I had to get it off my chest. I had to get it off my chest because in December I just started filming and I was like, it was still on my mind. It was the first time that I felt like I had reactivated PTSD as well, because literally I felt like everything, they crushed me. These were my friends. And so I wrote, this is only half the email. I just had to get it off my chest. And I wrote this extremely tactful, so I wasn't attacking them, but I was just letting them know that, you know what, you crushed me. You crushed my soul at that time. But I made the decision. This was my letter, and this is what I closed with. I didn't realize this either until I was talking to Juan the other day, and we were talking, and I was just like, I forgot, because I had put this out of my mind, that I had wrote this email. And this is one little paragraph I wrote to them. And I said, however, when I tell my story, I will not reference the fact that my best friend, my brother, and my sister stole all of my income in one phone call. It was a setback before I became the biggest success. I will be speaking on stages, and I will talk about my low points, how I overcame combat in Iraq, how a terrible digestive disease that nearly killed me, and my best friends that stole 5 years of my life. However, all those setbacks have led me to the man I am today. That was God testing me to see if I was ready for the biggest success to come. Thanks, Eric. I think Chris, when he said the 6'6" guy earlier, he was talking about you. Guys, they talk about writing out your goals. I had no idea whenever I wrote this that I would be here in front of you. I thought about it and I dreamt about it. I didn't know how it was going to happen. So if you're not where you want to be, it's because you haven't learned something yet. And the road is paved with dead squirrels that failed to make a decision. Don't be roadkill. And for those of you that say, I wish I knew back then what I know now, I'm telling you that time is right now. You're not starting over. I thought when I was starting over and moving into real estate and starting on YouTube, I thought I was starting over. But what I realized was that I'm not. I've got 20 years of success and failures and everything else behind me. I just came in with a completely different mindset, that I was going all in. I'm not looking back. I'm not going to pursue any more types of, court. I knew I would spend more money looking backwards than what I could make going forward, and now it's come to fruition. So with that, thank you very much. And my name is Levi, and I'm done speaking. Yeah, I got one last thing I want to leave you guys. So this screen is like off completely, but remember when I posted in the Facebook group that little media kit? You know what? A couple of the comments have really stood out to me. And some people said to me, hey, that's great, Levi. I'm not there yet. And I thought, okay, I get you. I understand. So what I decided to do, you guys heard of a vision board? Brandon, where's Brandon? Brandon, come here, Brandon. I want to give you yours personally. So I know when you coach basketball, you tell kids every day to practice, persist, and don't give up, I'm sure, right? So I want you to take your own advice.